Welcome back to Thirsty Thursdays. We're switching gears entirely today, moving from the traditional sweet warmth of holiday cocktails to one of profound bitter elegance. This cocktail is a modern classic, perfect for those who appreciate the complex and the unconventional. We are mixing up the Fernet. The Fernet is essentially a variation on a family of classic cocktails known as an Amaro flip, or, more broadly, an elevated spirited mixer. This template traditionally involves a spirit, a sweetener, and a whole egg, giving it a creamy, rich mouthfeel. The Fernet takes that creamy, complex, and spirit-forward structure, but makes three crucial modern swaps. Instead of a traditional base spirit like whiskey or brandy, the recipe uses Fernet Branca, which is a powerful, bitter Amaro. This significantly drops the ABV, adds an herbaceous layer, and creates a lighter, refreshing profile instead of a heavy one. The heavy, high-proof content of the flip, the egg and sometimes the cream, is replaced by the oat milk. The creamy texture from the egg is mimicked by the addition of our Demerara gum syrup. Gum Arabic gives that luxurious mouthfeel without the raw egg, keeping the cocktail dairy-free and modern. It is a deceptively simple-looking cocktail that is actually quite unique and interesting. The key ingredient here is a legendary Italian bitter, Fernet Branca. Let's dive into the fascinating history of this powerful Amaro before we mix it with tea. Fernet Branca was invented by Bernardino Branca in Milan, Italy in 1845. It was originally marketed like many early Amari, not as a cocktail ingredient, but as a medicinal tonic. It claimed to cure everything from fever to cholera to stomach ailments. The recipe is famously secret, reportedly containing 27 herbs and spices, sourced from 5 different continents. These ingredients include myrrh, rhubarb, chamomile, saffron, and most prominently, peppermint and eucalyptus. The exact formula is still closely guarded by family secret, locked away in a safe to which only the company's chairman has the key to. Fernet Branca has a fascinating American history too, though. In 1919, right before the Prohibition in the United States, it was one of the few spirits legally sold in pharmacies as a medical product. Authorities deemed it too bitter to be consumed recreationally, so it was classified as a medicinal product. The demand was so high that in 1936, Branca had to set up a branch office in Tribeca, New York to satisfy American demand. This unique status made sure it survived in the American market. It then went on to become an absolute staple in San Francisco, where a shot of Fernet often serves as the bartender's handshake. The Fernet was created by bartender Lex Hainsworth in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He created the Fernet cocktail while he was serving as the bar lead at Fat Fisk in Pittsburgh. Fat Fisk, which is Swedish for greasy or fat fish, is a popular bar known for its thoughtful, Scandinavian-inspired menu. The genius of the Fernet is how it uses commonplace tea to tame the Fernet Branca's intensity. The bitterness of the Fernet is often softened, and its intense menthol notes are amplified and refreshed by the peppermint tea. It's a low ABV cocktail that is cooling, complex, and highly refreshing. Alright, we've traced the legendary history of the bitter base and the modern genius of the recipe. Let's build the Fernet. Now, this is a built cocktail, meaning that we're going to assemble this directly in the glass and we're not going to shake it. So take out your favorite Collins glass. And we're going to start off with our non-alcoholic base. 2.5 ounces of chilled, strong peppermint tea. You want this tea to be brewed strong and completely cooled. Next, we add the star of the show, 1 ounce of Fernet Branca. This is a bold portion, but the tea is robust enough to carry it. Now for our sweetness, 3/4 ounce of our Demerara gum syrup. Demerara syrup adds a deeper, more molasses-like sweetness that complements the earthiness of the Fernet. And now with everything in our glass, we're going to use a bar spoon to mix everything together. Get everything nice and incorporated. Now we're going to fill the glass with ice. And finally, we add the smooth, modern twist. We're going to top this off with some oat milk. The oat milk adds a creamy mouthfeel and a touch of neutral sweetness. And finally, we're going to garnish this with a mint sprig. The fresh mint sprigs really complete the aroma and flavor. Now let's give this a try. That's like super unexpected. I really thought the Fernet was going to be like hitting me in the face, and it's really not. The oat milk really does mellow everything out, and so does the tea. You're going to be very pleasantly surprised if you try this for the first time. If you've never had Fernet Branca before, this is a really good stepping stone, because although very minty, not toothpaste minty. Let's talk about who's going to be lifting this unconventional cocktail. This is absolutely unique and wonderful. This cocktail is for the adventurer, the person who isn't afraid to order the bitter thing in the menu. If you love the strong menthol notes of Fernet Branca, Branca but want a full cocktail experience, this is perfect. It's also a great option if you need a cocktail that is complex and satisfying but lower in alcohol content. The combination of mint and oat milk makes it a highly refreshing, sophisticated sipper. It's perfect for the end of a long day when you want something complex without a huge punch of booze. However, if you only enjoy sweet or fruity cocktails, the pronounced bitter herbal notes of the Fernet will likely be too overwhelming. You know, this cocktail is meant to be dry, complex, and slightly medicinal tasting. If you dislike menthol, mint, or the taste of black licorice, this is a skip for you. However, for those who appreciate the balance of bitter and herbal, the Fernetea is a revelation. Now, for those who are Fernet curious but not ready for the full blast, here's a few simple tweaks to make the Fernetea more palatable. Increase the Demerara syrup from 3/4 of an ounce to a full ounce. This small adjustment will noticeably reduce the bitterness and make the cocktail feel smoother and more dessert-like. If you also lower the Fernet Branca down to 3/4 of an ounce, it will still carry signature menthol notes, but the bold, earthy bitterness will be more subdued, letting the tea and the oat milk lead the way. And if you find the peppermint overwhelming, try swapping the chilled peppermint tea for some chamomile tea. Chamomile is a softer, sweeter, and more honeyed herbal tea that will still complement the Fernet's botanicals while reducing the intense menthol flavor. No matter how you make it though, this cocktail truly shows how powerful and versatile Fernet Branca can be outside of a simple shot. That's it for this Thirsty Thursday. We hope you enjoyed diving into the surprising history of the great Italian Amaro. You can find the full recipe in the description below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please give us a like and hit that subscribe button. It helps us bring you more stories and history every week. Subscribe to join us next time for another classic we know you're gonna love. Until next time, stay thirsty, my friends. Cheers.